All right, my life's packed up in a storage container. Time to drive 1,000 miles to Austin, Texas. And welcome to the 1 in 3 show, where for the next 3 years, I'm gonna be documenting how I'm gonna be making $1 million. I'm gonna be totally transparent with all my money and everything that I'm doing, where all my money's going. I mean, holy hell, it is cold out. It's 30 degrees in April in Indiana. This is why I'm over the state. We got a lot of catching up to do. Babe, put on your seatbelt. I haven't made a video in almost an entire year, but I did just release 50 books on money and how to long-term invest, so go check that out. Babe, put on your money. I'm not gonna tell you yet, put your seatbelt on. It's my computer. I can't lose it. That's how I make my money. It's important to me. All right, so now let me explain the 4 ways that I'm gonna be making this money. 1 is sales, cash flow. 2 is YouTube, which is also passive money and growth. And 3 is long-term investments, the real estate, stock market, indexed annuities. We'll get into that in a future video. And then 4th will be trading. Now, trading is something I'm gonna be working on long-term, but it's kind of in the back burner. Number 1 is gonna be sales. So let's talk about that real quick. All right, let's talk sales. I pulled into adult time, didn't realize until I was already pulling in, but we're here now. Yeah, they're definitely not open. Pandemic. Would not recommend at all. If I was to take Warren Buffett's brain and transplant it into your head, regardless of the paradoxes and existential questions that you'd have, I could give you all the knowledge in the world over investing, but that doesn't mean anything if you don't have cash. If you don't have money to invest, you're not gonna become rich. You know, I know there's people out there that do these $0 investing and stuff like that, and I'm sure there's people that can do that. I don't know any multimillionaire or billionaires that started that way though. If you listen to majority of millionaires that are self-made, they hustle their asses off in the early times.
Hustle is the most important word ever. And that's what you need to do.
They are trying to make as much cash flow as possible to put it into things that make them a lot of money. Now, a lot of times this is businesses that they build, especially in our culture, people that build businesses are reveled, but in fact, the richest man in the world never built a business. Warren Buffett, he made all his money through investing and compounding interest in the stock market. And that's because he started when he was 8 years old. So number 1 is sales. I have to make as much money as possible. The more you produce, the more money you're gonna make. The best way to make money is to fix people's problems. If you're able to fix people's problems, you can get paid a lot of money depending on what the problem is. Now, there's a few things to improve your odds. So the first one is get into a sector that makes a lot of money. There's 11 sectors in the US market. I'm choosing finance. There's $17 trillion in finance, and then niche down. Did you know that there's $68 trillion held by baby boomers? And in the next 30 years, that money is going to be transferred down to the next generation. Now, there's gonna be a lot of different ways that's done, but one of those ways can make you a lot of money. And for me, that's selling life insurance. There is life insurance policies that allow you to transfer wealth tax-free, not tax-deferred, not tax-deducted, tax-free versus what you would call inheritance tax. Just Google inheritance tax. Essentially, after a certain price point, 50% of all the money that you transfer to your kids is going to be given to the government. It's pretty crazy. But life insurance fixes this problem for a lot of people. So another thing that'll help you with selecting the right job, you don't have to get into life insurance or sales or anything like that. Whatever you do to make money, you should either sell the best product you can possibly sell or work for the best company you can possibly work for. Usually you want to do both. Now let's talk about product. I already explained health insurance and what it fixes, so let's talk about company. I just partnered with PHP Agency, which is people helping people. I'm gonna sit in my car because it's still like 50 degrees and it's still kind of cold out. When it comes to choosing a right company to work for, you want to choose a company that is new and is taking a lot of market cap in their sector, in their industry. What I mean by that is you don't want to go work for a company that's 120 years old because they're going to be set in their ways. They're going to have their own corporate structure. They're going to do things that are very old school. They aren't doing new and innovative things. So there's not a lot of growth there. When you're trying to make a lot of money fast, you want to get into a position that is growth oriented. Now, there's a lot of life insurance companies out there. The company I'm working for has only been around since 2009. And if you haven't seen it yet, Valuetainment Entertainment channel, 2 million subscribers, biggest financial education and entrepreneurial YouTube channel there is. He's the owner of the company I'm working for, PHP Agency. Now, the reason I went with this company is because they are making massive waves. They're currently only at about 14,000 employees, and they're projected to be hitting 500,000 by 2029. Now, that's fantastic for me because that means a lot of growth. But while that's what they do and they sell life insurance, that's not who they are. I'm not gonna get into the details of everything. We'll talk about that more in more videos, but what they do is build entrepreneurs and build businesses. You're free to build your own agency and your own brand inside of this company. Now, since I'm already a YouTuber, that's a pretty big deal for me because I already have a brand. I'm not gonna forfeit that to go work for some company. but their main focus is to mentor you and build you up. So I'm working with a guy who's mentoring me, and I have learned a ton. I've learned more about good investments in the past 5 days than I have the past 2 years of studying myself. The value you get from talking to somebody who knows more than you and is actively trying to help you is indescribable. I love this company's structure and its system and the way it's built because it's designed to build you up. It's not designed to keep you at a certain level. But now let me pack this up and get back on the road, and we'll talk next about YouTube and how it's going to help me make $1 million. So I'm actually going to be hiring 10 people. I'm looking to build a team of people that are interested in bettering themselves, improving the quality of life, working as hard as they can, especially through this recession, because the business that I'm working on is a recession-proof business. It should be pretty busy. And I'm not going to tell you the fourth one that I'm looking for. I want to find that out. I want to kind of feel you out, but if you are interested in that, I'm going to have a link in the description below of a form that you can fill out. Now, these questions are going to be a little different than you're probably used to. This is not going to be an interview style job. This job, you're only going to be making money based on what you produce. Well, I'll give you an example of the question. One of the questions is, name a moment, month, or year in your life that was the hardest ever, and how did it impact you and make you do things differently today? Yeah, I'm really trying to dive down deep into finding out what it is you want out of life and what it is your goals, because my time is very valuable to me and I don't want to waste it on people that aren't aligned with what I'm trying to do. So I want to figure out what it is you want and see if that we can work together to make that happen. Probably shouldn't have shot this video next to a highway. I hope that's not too loud. Now, unfortunately, I would love to train or hire 20 or 30 people, and I will be hiring way more than 10. But starting off, I'm probably going to narrow it down to 10 people, and then I might even cut it down to 5 or 3, depending on time cost. But if you're interested in me mentoring you or working with you, check the link below. All right, now let's talk about my YouTube. I am currently I just crossed making $11,000 a month. We'll go over the exact dollar amounts and the money, finances, and the numbers later on in this video. But let's talk about the goal for YouTube and what I'm going to be doing with it. All right, what you didn't see is between these two cuts, I just drove 13 hours. It's 2:30 in the morning. Technically it's 3:30 in the morning because of the time zone. I'm gonna take a shower, sleep. We'll talk YouTube tomorrow. All right, let's do this. First though, little trick. I've been taking these recently. If you're somebody who, crashes midway through the afternoon or you just don't feel like you have enough energy throughout the day, 2 recommendations. First, eat less carbs in the morning. And 2, try out taking these. Pop 2 of these in the morning and tell me how you feel. But now let's talk YouTube. And I brought my computer and monitor in here because you can't lose it. There's not really a high chance that it gets stolen, but it is what it is. Let me turn off this AC and then we'll talk. All right, so YouTube. YouTube is one of those interesting ways of making money that is both passive, well, it's semi-passive, and it's scaling or compounding, so it grows with time. So the more subs I get and the more follows I get, which you should sub and like and hit the bell if you enjoy this video, the more money I'm gonna make over the long run, because once you make a video and you upload it, it generates money forever. I'm still making money on my first video that I made 2 years ago. So as of today, I think I'm making somewhere, let me actually check that. Yeah, so as of today, I'm making $11,462.58. Now, the downside of YouTube is it fluctuates a lot. I was only making about $3,000 to $4,000 before this pandemic, so the pandemic has made my revenue spike extremely high. I'm anticipating it coming back down, but I would love to build this to making $20,000 to $30,000 a month. Right now, at $10,000 over 3 years, that's going to be $300,000 made. So I've already chunked out 1/3 of making $1 million just with YouTube. Now, if I can get it to $30,000, I haven't done the math yet, but I'm assuming it'd be like $500,000 to $600,000 depending on how far I get. But honestly, the majority of my money I'm anticipating is going to be coming from sales. I'm going to dive into how I make YouTube videos and how I make money off of YouTube in later videos. Let's just get through this one today. So again, like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you haven't, and check out my Instagram too. I got a link in the description. I'm starting to produce a lot more content on there. I'm trying to live stream at least a few times a week and talk to people, interact with people. You can DM me with questions. All right, now I need to pack my car and then we'll talk about long-term investing. I think this is the most luggage I've ever taken anywhere. All right, now I just have to fit all this in this. Another thing with 370Zs, the doors love to shut. If you make YouTube videos, don't put your camera right here because it's going to get knocked over. So I think I'm 4 hours away from Austin, so almost there. But let's talk long-term investing real quick. Long-term investing is another source of passive and compounding money. It's the way Warren Buffett became the richest man in the world, so it's a pretty good way to do it. But you can also do it really wrong if you don't know what you're doing. If you haven't seen it yet, I made a video, how to learn how to long-term invest in a week. It'll be linked or in the description or somewhere. You can find it. But I'm going to be making a few series of long-term investing, and we're going to dive into more of the psychology and how to think like an investor, and then I'll be showing you the back end side of like how I specifically find stocks and how I manage portfolios and stuff like that. Now, I specifically invest in dividend stocks, which dividend stocks are, they basically pay you a certain dollar amount based on how many shares you own. This dollar amount is pretty stable. Right now, the stock market's crazy because of the virus outbreak, and markets moving like rapidly up and down. Dividends don't do that. The price of the dividend moves with the market, but the dividend payout that they give you every month or every quarter or every year usually is pretty steady. So as a dividend investor, I actually want the stock market to crash and come down, because then I can buy more dividends at a cheaper price to make more money passively in the long run. We'll cover that more in my videos. But the other form of long-term investments that I'm going to be doing is real estate. So I'm working on a video called How I Rented Out My House 1,000 Miles Away. I'm in Austin, Texas right now. I own a house in Muncie, Indiana, and I'm going to be renting it out from here, and I'm making about $1,000 a month off that. Now, my current mortgage is about $750, but I'm going to get that dropped to like $650, maybe $600 or lower once I get my PMI removed, which I'll be explaining what that is and how that works in that video. Now, if you would like to learn a lot about real estate, I cannot recommend the YouTube channel enough. Meet Kevin. I just contacted him, and I'm going to see if he has discounts for his courses, because I have bought a lot of online courses and just studied and researched a lot of online courses, and Kevin is by far one of the most impressive YouTubers and content creators that I can see as far as quality of content and the amount he produces. I haven't bought his courses yet, full disclaimer, but I plan on getting them and studying real estate through him. So if I did get a discount or a link for his courses, they'll be in the description below, so check that out. But his YouTube channel alone is a fantastic source of information. For dividend investments and dividend portfolios, check out Joseph Carlson's show. I'm a big fan of his stuff. I do disagree with him on a few things quite adamantly, but we'll talk about that in a different video. Now, I need to drive to Austin. Put your seatbelt on. Is anybody else addicted to Chick-fil-A fries? I'm really upset that I could get them, I don't want to wait. But I forgot to mention, for any of you guys that like Rich Dad Poor Dad book, I've been listening to an audiobook driving down here, and it's definitely top 5 of all time books I've read. I think I'm up to like 70 or 80. Might be top book of 2020, but I think it's a fantastic book. If you like Rich Dad Poor Dad and story style books, I cannot recommend it enough. It's called How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling. Now, I know a lot of you probably aren't even in sales, but it's a fantastic book for anybody to read, because the reality is everybody's in sales. When you go to a job interview, you're selling yourself. When you try to work with an employee or a customer, or even in a relationship, the book even relates to like relationships and stuff, and how to communicate between people and persuade them to your idea of thinking. It's a phenomenal book, so I highly recommend it. There'll be a link in the description. All right, we're here. 70 degrees out. No more ice storms, no more snow jackets, no more cold weather. Time to start a new life. And it all starts here. It's not a bad place. This is $1,500 Street, which is like right downtown. I thought it was going to be worse than this, but it's actually really nice. I need to, my car's still parked out front, so I got to park it in the garage and then I'll be back. So I unloaded everything, went to the grocery store, bought an air mattress, and it didn't come with a pump. I'm so exhausted. I just want to sleep, and I'm starving. So I'm going to cook some food, and we'll continue this video tomorrow. So here's the apartment. I have an air mattress and my computer stuff. I'm about to go get a desk with a friend that I met down here, and this is actually a 5-year goal for me. So was backpacking through Thailand, which I did a couple months ago. 5 years ago, I absolutely hated my life. I was working in manufacturing for 12 years. I had no freedom, no prospects of the future, no growth. I had reached my cap. I had reached like that level of success in that industry, and it just wasn't enough for me. I felt like trapped and just extremely depressed. I was not in a good place mentally and emotionally. And I decided to quit my career and rewrite my entire life. So if you feel like you're in that situation too, if you feel like you're not in the place that you should be, or you feel like you should be doing something else, hit me up on Instagram. You can ask me any questions you want. I'll help you guys out. And if you are interested in working with me or learning from me, getting mentored by me, there's gonna be a link in the description. Check that out and we'll go from there. But right now I need to go meet my friend and pick up this table. What's up, man?
Hey, how are you doing?
So this is Jonathan. I actually bought my 370Z from him and just hit him back up. He's gonna help me pick up the desk. So the guy that I was gonna buy the desk from was not a full desk. It was just like a raised desk. So Jonathan's actually gonna let me borrow his intern desk and yellow chair. Not a bad place for $1,500 though.
It's really good.
South facing. So I have to deal with the sun in my eyes. All right, so it's been about 2 weeks since I've turned on the camera. A lot's happened. I got knocked out and a concussion, so shout out to Lee. So a lot of you have been asking in the previous video, 50 books, how can you get around income tax using a business? So I'm about to show you my finances and how all my money's made and where it goes. But before that, full disclaimer, not a tax professional, not a CPA, not a lawyer. You should definitely consult those people before doing what I'm going to be explaining to you. So I want to explain a concept real quick before I show you my finances. So you see this computer? You see this apartment behind me? You see this car? This was all bought with tax-free money through my business. Let me explain. All right, so this is Lisa. She used to be a lawyer, now lives in a van and invests in real estate. But you're getting ready to stay somewhere.
Yeah.
Are you gonna sell this?
No, I'll never sell this.
No?
No,
Okay.
the van, no. She's
Okay.
my baby.
Well, she's gonna help me explain this concept real quick. Let's pretend that I'm a business and she's just working a job. She's just an employee. Let's say you're still a lawyer. Any money I make, I can spend tax-free on anything that is directly correlated to me making money through my business. However, any money she makes is immediately taxed from income.
Aww.
So the reason you want to start a business and a corporation is so that all the money you make can be spent and it's not taxed till the end of the year. So if I make $100,000 through my business and I spend all of that on business expenses, I pay no taxes on it. So that's the benefit of starting a business. Let me now dive into my finances and show you how I make all my money and where it all goes. All right, so here is my taxes. Hopefully that makes sense to you. The point is, when you buy stuff through your business, you don't have to pay an income tax. You just spend your money on what you need. So, for example, I showed this apartment, but I didn't really explain anything. I'm going to furnish this apartment, and because I'm a YouTuber, because I do photography, I make money with a camera. The backdrop and the stuff that's behind me adds value to my video. So that, therefore, I can write off my entire furnishings for this apartment because it is props that I use in my videos. So there's all kinds of ways to write off your money for taxes. We'll cover like all the things you can write off in a separate video. So for the month of April, I made about $14,000 total. Just under $5,000 was given to the business, while about $7,000 was given to me personally. Now, a lot of that personal money was used for moving from Indiana to Austin. It's quite expensive to move 1,000 miles away. And to date, I've made $27,000 and $14,000 of that has been given to my business, $12,000 to my personal income. Here is my business income and expense sheet and my personal income and expense sheet. I am spending, I need to cut back on my personal spending. I need to have my business making more money. So I need to minimalize over these next 2 months and really reduce down my personal expenses. But let's take a look at my total assets. So I currently have $46,690 in assets. So making $1 million actually comes in 3 phases. The first phase is you actually generate $1 million in sales. You net $1 million. The second phase is when you actually have $1 million in assets. That's through real estate and investment portfolios, cash on hand. Your business has that in equity. And then the third million cross would be you're actually making $1 million every year. So for me, eventually I want to be making $1 million a year, but for this next 3 years, my goal is making $1 million in assets. So this number right here, total assets, is the big number. That's the number at which I've achieved making $1 million. So currently, the majority of my money is in real estate. I have $24,000, and you can see that the slope up happened dramatically, and actually happened during the virus. So what I did was I had some improvements done on my house, and then I had an appraiser come out, reappraise the house. He added, I think, 9 or 10 grand onto the value of the house, and I only spent maybe $2,000 on the improvements. So I netted 6 to 7 grand out of thin air. It just generates out of thin air when you improve your house and you get it reappraised at a higher value. Okay, so real quickly, I'm going to brief through my charts. We'll go into this more in depth in future episodes. But my income, this is all the money that I've made so far this year and where it's came from. Now you'll notice that the first 3 months of the year, I was only making $4,000 to $5,000 from YouTube, and it's spiked up dramatically. April is when I released the 50 books video, and I've to date made about $4,000 on that in a 30-day period. So on top of the virus outbreak, people sitting at home just watching YouTube videos, my revenue has spiked dramatically. I am anticipating this coming back down, so I don't think it's going to stay above $11,000 at this point. But as of today, it's up to about $14,500 for the month. But YouTube's one of those things that it fluctuates a lot, so it's not very stable passive income. So then I also make money from Amazon affiliates, links from the books and stuff like that. Teachables courses. This is an old day trading course. Ricky Gutierrez. I'll put a link below for those that are wanting to learn day trading. His course is one that I have. And then real estate. Currently, I'm working on getting my lease written to get a tenant into my property, and I'll be making a video over how I rented out my house 1,000 miles away. So cash flow. Not going to go into all this because this is the bread and butter of all this. The only thing I want to say for now is I will be linking this down below, so you can actually use this entire spreadsheet if you want for your own finances. If you click this arrow at the top of here, it will pop up this picture, and it shows you the flow through of the money. So the money comes in from, if you want to visualize it, I have a business checking account that all my money flows into. Any money that I transfer from that business account into my personal account is considered a taxed event, and that's where the income tax comes. So as long as I can keep money in my business account and not transfer it into my personal account, it won't be taxed as income. Now, at the end of the year, if I have profit left over, it's taxed at corporate tax rate, which is a different thing. But that's the goal, is you want to maintain your money and your cash in your business, and then just use your business to buy everything that you can legally. Now, there's stipulations. You can't go overboard. Just like if you make $100,000 and you write off that you spent $100,000 from your business that year, the IRS will look at you. You might throw some flags up, like you can't actually do illegal things with this, and the IRS is very smart at getting their money. So you have to manage your money in a realistic way. Again, talk to a CPA, talk to a tax professional. They will coach you on how to do this. Now you'll see at the top it says tax type, and this is the bread and butter of this chart. So over here I have a tax quality, and it goes from free to depreciating, deducted, deferred, capital gains, income, and estate tax. The higher and more green that is, the better the tax is. You'll notice that my life insurance IUL, which currently I am going to be building in a future video, this is tax-free. This is like a 401k or a Roth IRA, but it's never taxed. It's the best investment vehicle you can possibly own for long-term investments. It's better than real estate. It's better than 401ks. It's better than Roth IRAs, but we'll go into that in a different video. The second best is business. My business payables and my business credit cards. Again, anything I buy with a business credit card that is business related, that I make money from, let's say I take my camera out and I go get food at some restaurant. If I shoot a video there, I can write off that meal as tax free because it was used in the business as a scene, as a prop in me making money. So it's really nice to be a YouTuber or photographer because literally you just turn on a camera and you can write off anything that you do. I can travel to Bali and write off the trip as long as I take a camera and I make a video. This is a fantastic business to be in when it comes to taxes. Okay, moving on. Then I have my balance sheet. This is just my assets. This is the money that I'm taking from my cash flow and putting it into assets. And then I've just got some random calculations, and I've got a tax calculator that I picked up. So hopefully that gives you a quick glimpse into all my finances and where my money's going. The game plan is to build up my cash flow. I want to increase this as much as possible. I want to be making $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 a month. and then take that cash and invest it into real estate and stock portfolios in my life insurance policies to grow that net worth up to $1 million. And then eventually be making so much passive money from dividends and real estate and all that it becomes a self-fulfilling machine. It just runs, and I could literally just quit everything I'm doing and go live in Tahiti or something for the rest of my life, although I wouldn't do that. That would be super boring. So I hope you enjoyed those videos. Future videos coming up, we're going to be how I rented out my house 1,000 miles away. I did an interview with Lisa, actually. She's got a really interesting story.
Because you think that you're doing something with your life, you think that you have control over your life. But then when you realize that you don't, it's very uncomfortable.
Living in a van and now doing real estate here in Austin and in Arizona. That interview, we talk about overcoming the fears of entrepreneurship and how to think less and not get analysis paralysis and just take action and move towards the things that you're actually trying to work towards in life. So it was a really good interview, and I'm excited to get it edited and uploaded. And again, lastly, if you are interested in working with me and being a part of me building a team and being a part of an industry that you can make a lot of money in, check the link below. Check my Instagram for new content. I'm trying to post stuff all the time and really engaging with my audience and trying to answer all your guys' questions. And I will see you in the next episode of this, which should be a month from now.